All right, let's get started. It is week 2, live session 2. Welcome. Hopefully you guys are, getting started with your projects for this week, and you were able to listen to the lecture from yesterday. If you missed the live lecture, go ahead and listen to that for your instructions for assignment 2, as well as your discussion, which hopefully you guys are posting that initial discussion. Well, you have, because it was due by midnight yesterday. But if you haven't, get those started as soon as possible. Let me know if you have any questions with assignment 2. But I would highly recommend you guys listening to the recording first, because I did a step-by-step demo of how I would approach that project. Today, we are actually going to be looking at your assessment 2. So we will look at some of the graphing tools available within Illustrator so that you guys can do each one that is prompted in the assessment 2. It's a great way to, work with each one of those if you haven't yet. So we'll definitely do a demo on that. We'll do the assessment overview here in a second, and just a little review of assignment 2 requirements from what we talked about yesterday. Make sure you're using Illustrator. You can do 11 by 14 inches or 11 by 17. I believe it says 11 by 17 in the instructions, so definitely can do that. You can do horizontal or vertical, so portrait or landscape, depending on what you believe is the better orientation for your design. Use your plan from your content strategy that you did in week 1. Use that as your platform for your concept. Use the graphing tool, and that is shown in the media section of your course in Canvas if you need more help with that. Think about the principles of design always. Anytime you're designing, you need to apply those principles. So CRAP, contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. Kind of keep that in the back of your mind when you're laying this out, and make sure you're hitting upon those. Successful infographic design. Think about what makes a successful infographic design. We're talking about this in the discussions this week as well, so that'll kind of help you keep that in mind, what you should do and what you shouldn't do when it comes to designing infographics. Make sure that your file is set up for CMYK mode for print. I showed how to check for that, so if you missed that, again, just listen to the recording from yesterday's lecture. Cite your source, the URL. I did not have this in my demo, but I did mention it at the end. I kind of forgot. But you can just place the URL at the very bottom or wherever you think is appropriate. And it could be smaller. It shouldn't be very large because it's just a cited source. Don't forget to save the AI file for your purposes. If you need to go back and revise, you need to save the native file so that you can always go back and revise for future use or revisions. Submit as a PDF. That's what you'll be submitting through Canvas for your final evaluation. And then don't forget, you need to save out as a JPEG as well. And I showed how to do this in yesterday's lecture. So if you missed that, definitely go back and review that. I also showed how to upload it to Behance. And again, just kind of reminded you guys that you need to email it to your advisor, and then also copy me, CC me on that email. Check your rubrics for the breakdown. If you want to know how I'm cross-checking your work, that is definitely something that you need to look at. All right, so we're going to do a demo, and I'm just going to go right into the assessment 2 when we do the demo here, just because I think it all kind of works together. So you're going to choose a graph style. Think about how you can do a graph generally in Illustrator, and then you can edit it to make it look the way that you want it to look. Add the data, customize graphing options, so you can kind of think about how you want the graph to look like. labels, tick marks, legends, for example. There's Linda videos in the course that will help you with the basics as well. So if you need extra supportive resources, you can find that in your media section. Editing using the direct select tool in Illustrator, you can edit your chart style, your colors, and your values as well. That's the white arrow, and I can show you that as we go forward. For more control, you can ungroup to edit. Don't ungroup until you're certain of the data and style that you're using. And again, we'll kind of look at that as we go forward here. All right, so let's take a look at the assessment 2 here. I'm going to pull that up and we can read over the prompted specs. All right, so basically you're going to be using vector graphing tools. You can read through the background here. I'm going to go right to the prompt. So for your assessment, you get to show your skills with the graph tool you used in this week's assignment. Take the provided data, so you're going to download this here, it's a hyperlink, and use the Illustrator graphing tool to create 3 custom graphs, 1 bar graph, 1 pie graph, and 1 line graph. You do not need to create a final infographic from the data, just the charts. Okay. So you're going to create an 8.5 by 11 document in Illustrator, portrait or landscape. Design 3 graphs, each displaying different data. So a pie graph, a line graph, a bar graph. Use the U.S. solar and wind generation in the 5 top states 2015. You can choose to cover either the solar or the wind power data. Choose the appropriate type of graph to represent the specific data. Adjust the values, categories, and legends so they're relevant to the story. Customize the numeric values and scale as needed. Apply relevant colors and choose appropriate fonts for the text. Do not use default. Note, if you add a drop shadow, customize it so it isn't distracting or overpowering. Now add chart designs to the graph. Download provided graphics here. You can design your own if you would like that, but keep the principles of design in mind and focus on a clear visualization of the data. Sorry about that. Remember to communicate, not decorate. Okay, so presentation guidelines. Present all graphs on one page in a professional and balanced way. Label each one as needed. Clean up your file and delete any obsolete objects outside the artboard. You're going to name your file, and it's going to be an AI file, and then you're going to submit the native Illustrator file that has the imported data loaded into the graph tool for grading. So I shouldn't see any PDFs, JPEGs, PNGs, anything like that. I need to see your AI file, so your native file. Okay, sorry about that. I had to sneeze. Okay, so the idea is to kind of create almost like a data visualization. So you're just going to show these 3 charts. You might have, you know, headlines for each one, but it's basically just going to show each section. Go ahead and download the provided data here. These are Excel sheets that you're going to pull the data from. So let me show you what that looks like. I have them all up here. Give me 1 second. And here we go. Okay, I'm just going to share my desktop here. So you can see that these are all the 3 files that you're going to have to pull from. Okay. And I'll show each one individually as we go forward here for what we need. All right, so those are going to be the Excel sheets that you're going to want to pull your information from for each graph. Okay, so we're going to do a pie chart, a bar graph, and a line graph. Okay, so adding graph design demo, we'll definitely do that. Let me skip forward here. All right. Actually, we're not going to skip forward. I'm going to go right into Illustrator here. And I'm going to provide you guys with this. If you want, I will place it into announcements. And it's basically these icons that you can use for your project, okay? You can make them a different color and all that, and I'll show you how I would do it. Okay, so I'm going to do a new document. And I'm going to do, I think 11 by 17. I don't think it actually gave you, did it give you a size here too? Oh, 8.5 by 11. Okay, let's do that again. 8.5 by 11. Make sure I'm sharing the right screen here. There we go. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to show these 3 Excel sheets. We're going to put that data visually into each chart that we're going to demo here. So I'm going to actually make this background darker here. So we'll start that out. It's just completely up to you on how you want to do this. Design-wise, you might want to just start out with, you know, getting the charts done first. But I'm going to just set this out just to show you for use of we're going to split this into kind of 3 sections here. So it's up to you if you want to do it in this way too. You give this a same color. And then we're going to do an alt drag. And we can adjust this, you know, spacing wise. Okay. So, you know, I could have the line, bar graph here. I could have the pie chart here and then the bar graph there. Okay, I'm going to put a headline up here. Types of energy would be a significant headline here because the first or one of the given Excel sheets is showing types of energy. And I'll show you which one I'm talking about here. Give me 1 second. Go ahead and choose a typeface that you think works well with this particular project. I'm going to do white. We're going to go ahead and align center here. Types of energy. We'll do, let's copy this here. And you can do different type treatments to each of these. We'll name this one Homes Powered by Solar Megawatts. Make sure this is centered. And then this one would be solar versus wind energy. And I'm getting this solely from the Excel information that you have, Excel sheets that I just showed you. Okay, let's see here. Move this over here because I can't get to my alignment options. Oops. It looks pretty good. Okay. I'm going to save this now. DES240 assessment 2, my first and last name. We're going to save this as an AI file. Okay. So these particular headlines, these 3 headlines, again, are all in the Excel sheet. So I'm going to grab the types of energy. And the types of energy should be shown as this. I'm going to show you the Excel sheet that I'm looking at. And again, this is what's provided to you guys. Okay, so it's called U.S. Energy Consumption 2015. And this is what you have to put into a line graph. So you have nuclear, renewable, coal, natural gas, and petroleum. So we got to put that into a line graph, okay? So let me go back to Illustrator, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And you can set your own style for this. Let me pull all my information over here so I can see it. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go over here to your graphing options, and you're going to click and drag, or click and hold that. And look at all of your options here. So what we're going to do for this one is we're going to do the line graph tool. Okay, so it's going to actually have a little line kind of going up and down. So we're going to choose that. And now we're going to click and drag kind of over top of this section here. And when we're done kind of doing a little square, we're going to let go. When we let go, we have a cell sheet that comes, you know, it kind of opens, and it starts out with the 1.0. So what you're going to do, okay, here, hold on 1 second here. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to put 40 pretty much in this spot. So you're going to put 40. Oh, sorry about that. 40 in this spot down below the 1. So in the second cell down vertically, you're going to put 40, and that's going to go all the way down to 0 on the vertical side. Now you can go and do different cell sizes and all that. We're just going to keep it like this for now. Okay, so we have the left side scale, and now we need to put in our dots. So 9 is for nuclear. Oops. So okay, so now we need to do, we need to put 9 here. And it's going to place a dot where the 9 is. And we're going to put 10 here for renewables. 16 here for coal. 29 here for natural gas. And 36 for petroleum. Okay, so you have this nice line graph. Now this line here we need to get rid of. So once we close out of here, you're going to take the direct selection tool, and we're going to delete this. Just go ahead and delete, 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 delete until you get this out here. Just completely out of there. All right, and I just took the direct selection tool, and that's how you can edit this. Okay, let me zoom in here. I want to make this all white because, you know, we're on a dark background here. So we're going to do a white fill, but not stroke. So let's get rid of that. Just a fill here. Okay, so the fill should be white if it's on a dark background. And you can see how you have this nice graph here, and we only need to put the labels down here because we don't really know what we're looking at, right? So we want to do nuclear below this information because that's showing that nuclear amount, and then renewable next to that. So let's take the type tool. I'm going to draw out a type box here, and we're going to choose a white type. Let's do like 10 point. So we want to put nuclear. We're going to do a tab. Renewable, tab. Coal, tab. Natural gas. And then the last one is petroleum. Now, let me see here. Go. Oh, I didn't mean to hit that. Sorry. I'm going to go up and choose Oh, I guess there isn't like a tab option. I thought there was a tab option here. Okay, so instead of tabbing, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna take all the tabs out here. Hold on, let me see. There has to be a tab option here. I'm thinking like Illustrator or InDesign type tabs. Yeah, there is a tab option. It's just in a different area here. Okay, it's in your character palette. Okay, let me undo this. I'm sorry, I'm like in InDesign mode here. Okay, so put the tabs in the middle, select, go to your character panel, and on the upper right-hand corner, where's my type? Hold on, guys. Oh, I guess you can't get to it there either. All right, hold on. Where is it? Okay. So you would go to Window, type, and then open up tabs. Tabs is a separate option there. Okay, in the tabs, what you want to do, it's just like in InDesign, the tab key will come up here. And what you're going to do is you're going to use the center align tab. And you're going to center in these, see how this line here goes to this little intersecting line? We want to center that. We want to put center tabs in the middle of all of these sections here. Okay, now we can adjust these if they're not quite right because I'm just kind of eyeballing it right now. There we go. There should be a tab here. So now I can see how this is, although I don't have a tab here. So let's do tab there. I'm gonna get rid of this tab. Now it's starting to look like, you know, more like what it's gonna look like because I got the tab out of there. Okay, now I'm just adjusting this based on, you know, kind of what it looks like by my eye. Oops. And there you go. Now, at this point, you can change this. If you don't like the way that this looks, you can add or delete stuff. So what I mean by that is, say you don't like this vertical line here, you want to take that out. Okay, hold on one second. Hold on. Oh, excuse me. Okay, what we need to do, we can't delete that. Oh, it says I can't delete that. Interesting. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to just pull this line out horizontally here. Oh, you know what? Let me ungroup this. That's why. You have to ungroup it first. Sorry, guys. It's like, that's really weird that you can't delete that. Okay, now you can delete it. Once you ungroup it, you can delete it using the direct selection tool. You can even delete these. You know, if you don't want these here, you just have to click on them with the white arrow and delete, delete, delete. You want to do your own thing. Or if you want to do something like this, go back. You know, maybe you want to pull out these lines. You know, so pick the style that you want and then adjust accordingly. You can make these different colors too. Oops. I'm just holding the shift key and dragging these out. So if you wanted to make these, say, yellow, you can make them yellow. You can even make them thinner. Here's the 1 point. You can do a 0.5. Probably do the one down here too. And then you have these little notches down here that you can get rid of. So you can edit it as long as you make sure that it's not grouped. Okay, now this is where you can actually edit to, you know, say you don't like those little squares. Maybe you do a circle. And I'm just adjusting the lines here. And then you can just kind of copy paste. Oops, let me delete that. So I'm just kind of adding in my own style to this. Okay. So that's how you would do a bar graph here. So I'm going to make this a little smaller so it fits in here a little bit better. Oops. And I can do so just using the scale tool. Just do 90% shrink scale reduction there. And then centering it so it makes sense for this layout. All right, so that is how you would use a line graph tool. The next one would be the pie chart. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you the pie chart information that you're going to pull from. So the Excel sheet that you're going to do the pie chart from, let's see here, is this 5 top state Excel, let me see if I'm showing this right here. Yeah, Excel sheet. So it should say 5 top states 2015, okay? And this is what you're gonna pull from. I showed you how to do a pie chart before. Let's do it again from last week's or yesterday's lecture. So we're going to go right back to where you had that bar graph tool, but instead we're going to choose pie graph. And we're going to do a shift drag out, probably with the size of the space here. And again, your presets will pop up here. And what you're going to do is you're going to put the numbers in that are the megawatts. So everything that you see on the megawatts panel or side, you're going to plug in. So the first number is California, and that number goes here, 13241. And then you're going to put in Arizona's 2303. And you can click the little check mark just to see, you know, what that looks like. 2087 would be North Carolina. 1632 would be New Jersey. Nevada would be 1240. Okay. So just kind of remember, you know, you can kind of see the totals change. It goes from the most to the least. So what we're going to do is not only are we going to do a pie chart, but we're also going to show the numbers in terms of the homes and the watts next to it. So it's a little bit clear on what this is showing. So I'm going to pull this to the left a little bit. And I'm going to put a little subhead right here, and it's going to say homes megawatts, so people know what's going on. Oops. With what they're seeing here. Maybe my character palette up here. Hold on 1 second. It's a little bigger here. Make homes just a little bigger. Okay, and now I'm going to do a type box. And in this type box, smaller here, I'm going to type in the total. So exactly what I just typed in with a tab, and then the total home numbers. And this is all given to you in the Excel sheet. You're just going to visually and verbally show it. So this is the verbally part. 1, 2, 3. 8, 7. So I'm just going in order. 2303 tab 32700, and then 13241. So the number on the right is the wattage usage, and the number on the left is the homes. How many homes in regards to that count. Okay. Now we don't know which one's which as far as the state is concerned, so we need to add that in just to be crystal clear on what we're seeing here. So let's do, let's give it a little bit more leading in here. Spread it out a little bit. So I got about 12 point to 21 point leading. And we're gonna just pull this over here. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do another text box, and we're gonna put CA, AZ, NC, so we're doing the states, NJ, NV. And I'm gonna rotate this just so it's a little different. So CA goes with this one. And then those could be, you know, like a different color. What we could do is like make this blue, and then as well as that blue as well. So it all kind of goes together. This can be purple. Okay, let's do this green. I did that wrong. It's okay. Green. Let's do this green. I did that wrong. Just going with like the whole warm to cool thing. So once we get these color coded, we can then use those same colors in our chart so that we're labeling them correctly, clearly. And it just becomes more clear as what we're looking at in regards to the chart. So we need to ungroup this. Select, go up to Object, Ungroup before we can do any edits. And now we can take the direct selection tool and make our edits. I'm going to select, shift select all of this. And I'm going to give it a no stroke. So it's a little bit more cleaner looking. And then I'm going to look at, these numbers that I plugged in here, and I'm going to relate it to the pie chart. So obviously California is the largest piece of the pie. And then we go down from there. So we have Arizona being the next bigger color, bigger piece of the pie. That should be red. This should be green, North Carolina. So I'm just selecting it with the indirect selection tool, taking the eyedropper tool, and then choosing that color within that key chart. Okay. So that is, let's see here, how you would do a pie chart. Now, you don't have to do it exactly how I showed you here. You can give it your own style, your own look. This is just kind of what I decided to do. And again, we're just gonna try to balance this out a little bit. So it looks good visually, okay? So that's the pie chart. All right, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break before we go on to the other bar graph. So I'll meet you guys back here in 5 minutes, and then we'll continue on and complete this project demo. All right, we're back, and let me go forward with the rest of this demo, which was showing you the next graph that we're going to do, and that's the bar graph. This one's a little different because what we can do is actually copy and paste the information into our little preset cell sheet here. So let me open up this Excel that you're going to use for this particular bar graph. So this is the one that you're going to use for the next bar graph, which is the one that I'm going to show you in a second. What you can do is just select all of this information, just to go ahead and do a select all, or just like that, click and drag, and then do a Command C if you're on a Mac to copy that information. All right, and then go back to your Illustrator document here, and again, go back to where all the graphs are and go to your column graph tool. And I'm going to click and drag out an area here to do so, and just let go. And then I would start at number 1 and just do a Command V. So it's going to paste in all that information. So when you do a Command V, you can see all that information is placed in there, and then do the check mark, and it's going to apply it. This is what's really nice about this particular one, is it does it automatically. Then you can go and size this. Say if it's too big, you can go and use your scale tool, size it down a little bit. It doesn't fit in that space. Adjust it, center it, and now you can make it more customary here. If you just ungroup it, so select all, or select the graph itself, go up to Object, Ungroup, click Yes. And you don't even need to use these totals. It's completely up to you. You can actually take those off if you want, but you know, it's completely up to you. You can customize it to what your other ones look a little bit more simplified, or you can keep it as is. I'm just going to copy these numbers and make these at least white. Oops. So that they're readable. Do a select all, but I didn't. Okay, let me figure out a color that I want. I think maybe I'll go with a yellow for this lighter one. Maybe the same yellow I used up here. Just do the eyedropper tool. And then for the darker ones, maybe I'll do the green. I'm using the direct selection tool and doing a shift select. Okay. Just make sure whatever colors that you have there, you're going to obviously have it match what it is here, right? Because that's the key. So that should be yellow. It's showing solar. And then the wind should be the green. Now you can move these down if you want. You know, so you want to move this closer to the bottom here. You can do whatever you want. You can even take out these vertical lines down here. Oops. I'm taking out all these little notches here. And like I said, you could take out, you know, all this information as well. I would probably just leave it, but I don't know. It might be good just to get rid of this part and just, you know, keep it simple. All right. That looks pretty good. Now I just have to center it. And that looks pretty good. So you can see I have 3 sections here, types of energy. Maybe make this a gray instead of a, types of energy would be the first example. Maybe I like it white. And then you have the homes powered by solar megawatts as a pie chart, and then the bar graph is the solar versus wind energy. So what you're going to do when you're done, you're going to save this as an AI file, and you're going to submit it as an AI file per the instructions given to you guys. So you're going to submit the native Illustrator file that has the imported data. So I can go in and see how you did that and if you did it correctly. So you don't have to export it out as a JPEG or a PDF. Submit your native Illustrator file, .ai file. All right, the next thing before I do anything, because I forgot to show you this too. Remember those graphics I was showing you that I could give to you guys in announcements if you want them? We're going to add this into our example here. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it down here where it says the wind energy is, just to give it some cool graphics. I'm going to make it bigger, and I'm actually going to make it this gray color, but then maybe make it a little lighter. Actually, I'll probably make it white and give it an opacity. That might be the best way to do it. So I'll go up here, the opacity. I'm going to dial this down a little bit. Maybe a 15. Just make sure that your chart is going above the graphics so that you're not covering any information here. And you can kind of overlap some together to get some perspective. See how it kind of adds to the look of that. Same thing with the sun. Copy that. So maybe in here we need the sun. Oops. Make that white. Make it opaque. 15% opaque. All the other information should go above. So we're going to do a shift select here. Same thing with this. Oops. So that this isn't getting in the way of the information. It's going behind it. Okay. I'll probably even give it maybe a little bit more opacity here just to dial it down a little bit more. You can put in a house, you know, because it's talking about solar megawatts and a solar panel. Let me see if I have that in here. 1 second. Solar. Okay, so this is showing the houses. We could just do a live trace here. Oops. So what we'll do is we'll just do a screenshot of that. Place the screenshot. Nice and simple. And then we're going to do a live image trace. There we go. Expand will allow you to grab the vector pieces here. Oops. And then all you need to do is copy and paste it in there. I'm going to make this white. And like 15% opacity. Place this down here. And again, just make sure everything's kind of going forward. Bring to front so you don't have that information there kind of getting in the way. All right, the next thing, maybe like a solar panel would be very cool to get in there. Because you have the house, so why not a solar panel? Let's see if I actually have a solar panel. Yes, I do. Okay, so I'm just opening up these free like JPEG looking things, and I'm just going to do a screenshot of this one. And then, oops, file place. We're going to do a image trace. Oops, this one might not trace as good here. Hold on. Oops. Get rid of all this. Let's do black for now. Oops. Try to get rid of these, but I don't know if this is actually going to work. This might not work. It's a little bit more complicated. Let's see here. I have another one. All right, looks like that's the only one I have. Let me see if I can actually grab that. I think it's just, yeah, it's not gonna actually work. I'll just have to find an icon. You can actually go, let's see if pixabay.com has one because that's free. I'm just curious, solar panel icon. Let's see what they have going on here. Solar panel. Looks like it's just all photographs. Maybe, let's see. All right, let me grab, because you could actually do this from scratch too. Let me grab something real quick here, and I think I have. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll give you guys this one. This is a little harder to find. Sorry about the, here, people cutting grass here. Give me 1 second, I thought I grabbed it. All right, so this one I will place in that document, and I'll give it to you guys if you want to grab it, because this is already kind of pre-done, pre-made. This is the solar panel I was trying to get. Oops. So we have the house and the solar panel. So go ahead and orient that in a way that makes sense. I mean, you could even overlap this, you know, overlap the house. Have it kind of like that, as long as you can see the house. Looks pretty good. Okay, so that kind of adds to the graphics. The you know, it's kind of up to you how you want to make it, but that's some examples that you can do. You can even add some to the left here for some balancing. Play around with it, see what you like, see what works, what makes sense for this. But that's basically what you guys will be doing for this particular project. And I think this is a good way to experiment with the 3 different graphing options and kind of playing around with keeping the style the same. Don't forget to get really good contrast. Like I have great contrast here going on where I can see, you know, the most important information. It's all making sense. The numbers make sense with what you're seeing visually. Make sure that that is, the, you know, kind of what's going on with yours. Customize it, you know, make it look better than what it looks when you first place it on there. Kind of edit it and play around with it. If you have any questions, you know, going forward, let me know. I'm going to show some student examples here so you guys have some ideas of what has been done in the past. Okay, let me open this up here. Assessment sample, sample assignment, student samples, assessment. Some of these are AI files, so I'm going to show you the PDFs first, and then we'll take a look at the AI files. So we have several different file formats for some reason. But don't forget that you should be saving it as an AI file, not a PDF. Okay, here's some student examples. This one's a little larger than 8.5 by 11. I would say if you want to do something similar in size, that's fine. I don't think it needs to be 8.5 by 11, as long as it's appropriate size to what you're doing. This person decided to do it differently in regards to what they're showing, the bar graph, the line graph, and then the pie chart. But it's all, you know, make sure if you do reorganize that, you're still using the same graph for each one. So you'll use the bar graph for the energy consumption, the line graph for the wattage used, and then the pie chart for the megawatts per home. Here's another one. Okay, let me make this bigger so you can see it. Types of energy. This is kind of neat how they did this one with the little plug there. And the charts doesn't look like a pie chart. It's a little bit more customized based on the look of that. There's the line chart. And then the bar chart. But the overall, it's very creative because it's very monotone in color. The only thing that's a pop of color is what the information is reading. So that's kind of a neat way to do it. All right, this is another one using all monotone, one color with a pop of blue down below. Different way to do it here. This is actually the pie chart. The line is not being shown here. The line graph is not being shown here, so just FYI, that needs to be shown. Here's another one. Let me get smaller here. Kind of a different style. Solar versus wind. So choose the style that you want. You know, don't make it boring. You know, make it look visually interesting. Kind of customize it based on what you want it to look like. And you can see that these are all very different styles. Same information, just all different various styles. Well, it's kind of interesting to see what other people do. Oh, this is not related to this. Sorry, guys. Okay, let me grab the AI files so we can take a look at that real quick. Okay. Oops. I just clicked off of the the portion that I needed to show you guys here. Hold on. Make sure student examples, assessment. All right, there's a couple of these I'm going to show you here real quick. Oh, some of these are linking stuff. We might not be able to actually look at these in the proper way because it's trying to link icons to. Let's see what we got here. Okay, this is actually the same examples that I showed you, just this one's a little different. Yeah, this may be a little harder to see because some of the fonts aren't coming through. So yeah, you would have to outline your fonts. If I don't have your font, this is what it'll look like. Kind of an interesting way to show the information. Okay, this is the one I showed you before in the PDF. Okay, that's basically it. So a lot of those were ones that I showed you before. All right, so what I'll do is I'll place those icons in announcements so you guys can utilize that if you want to. And it'll be an AI file. You can just grab and copy and paste it in your file and change the color and stuff like that. And that'll be like the sunshine icon, the wind turbines, the solar panel in the house, if you want to use those. Feel free to use whatever one, icons that you want to use if it works. All right, we talked about this yesterday for your assignment too. Just kind of keep in mind these key elements here. Designing with chart, less is more. This is kind of skipping ahead here. But I mean, always think about this stuff when you are composing your projects. And even for this particular assessment, think about composition, hierarchy, contrast, all of those good things. You saw some of the more effective infographics are the ones that were all monotone, and then the information was the only thing that popped out with color. So that might be your technique. That may be the way that you want to go too. All right, so next week we're going to start a new project, interface design, UX, UI. So it'll be kind of exciting. If you guys want to look ahead to see what's going on next week, you can do so. We will be meeting for a lecture on Monday and Tuesday instead of Wednesday and Thursday. Like I said, it switches every week. This same time, only Monday and Tuesday next week for your week 3 lectures. So just kind of a heads up there. I will place in those icons right now after our lecture so you guys can take that if you need to for this assessment. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to help you guys. Like I said, don't feel like you're bothering me. I'm here to help you, and hopefully you guys can get started with this project as well with your assignment too. All right, send me any emails, any inquiries if you have any questions going forward, and I'll be talking to you guys soon. Okay, have a great weekend if we don't talk until then.